We both align, we both equally yoked, and we both going in the same direction. And I think that people forget that. They forget that. And that's when you become complacent. That's when you start to have conversations based off of the fact to say, well, you know, the only value that you have is to become a wife and to become a mother and all of that. Okay, so what happens when the kids grow up and they're out the house? Then what? What happens when the kids grow up? What's your purpose then? You're a mother, you fulfilled your duty. You're a man, you wind up making the money or whatever. And then what? You don't know each other. That we experienced that during the pandemic when a lot of people had to start living together and they didn't, and it was hell on earth in some of these households, and they didn't even want to exist around each other because they did not know each other, and they had all of these different things throughout society that kept them occupied or distracted from who they really are, and they never really explored what their purpose was as a couple. When you get married, you become one. When you get married, you become one. And I think that people need to start really evaluating what that means, because most people, again, they're not rooted in scripture. And that's fine, right? We don't always have to believe the same thing, but you still have to be equally yoked. That still applies across the board. I would imagine that if you're a Muslim, then you have to be aligning with Muslim principles in order for y'all to be able to exist in that environment. If you're a radical leader, there's no way that Coretta Scott King could have held down Martin Luther King if they wasn't aligning on the same page, considering that it's a strong possibility that he's gonna go out there, get arrested, get beat down by the police, possibly get killed. They got to be on the same page. She couldn't just be there just to, just for the same things that other people would be there for, as far as to build wealth and pass on generational wealth. They had a completely different purpose in their life. And them together were stronger together than they were apart, because her playing her role actually enabled them to be more impactful when it came to the civil rights movement. And so it's not just this monolith. No couple is the same. No couple is moving just based off of this one simple principle. It has to be a real alignment of what it is that y'all are as individuals, and whether or not y'all gonna come together, because you got to take your vows seriously. And it's not just this small little thing that we put ourselves in a box in. It's some people that get married for political purposes, in order to try to, you know what I'm saying, in order to make sure that they elevating themselves, or they partnering from that perspective. A partnership in that particular situation is okay. They may not have an intimate relationship. They may just have a business relationship that allows for them to look good in front of the camera so that they can elevate each other, and then they go ahead and they execute their purpose. What you think? Bill Clinton stayed with Hillary Clinton because she was bad?
Nope.
No, he didn't stay with her because he was bad, but he fulfilled his obligation and putting her in a position of power because she played her role and she did what she was supposed to do. But it didn't mean that she didn't have political aspirations and she didn't have, things that she wanted to accomplish. She absolutely did. I see Indian women that are incredibly loyal to their husbands every single day, and they're executives, directors, project managers, and they move accordingly. But if you talk to them, they have goals and aspirations to continue to elevate in corporate America. It's just a fact. So I think that people need to start doing a deeper dive into what being equally yoked means. And that way you can understand exactly who you are and what it is that you're looking for.
And just remember the saying, at the bottom is saying your goals are secondary to your husband, not non-existent. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want any of the women to think that once you get married, your goals don't matter. They just become secondary. And once the man, because I think as a husband, we have to make sure we provide a safe space for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. Just like what Lady Di said, if you have a passion to give back to the community, that has to be poured into, you know what I'm saying? But we have to make sure that he is making sure his goal is doing what it's supposed to do. And just like what Precious says, if it interrupts what he's doing, that can hurt him. So once he does whatever it is he needs to do, because that's the primary goal, the secondary goal would be Precious giving back to the community.
So then, just bringing everything full circle to where Lady Di was Precious was talking, what Anton added. So then, isn't the communication initially in the beginning very important? Why if the wife doesn't put her goals secondary to the husband, the relationship is done. So then, shouldn't we align ourselves with, like Anton said, equally yoked people? If this person is about getting money, about building an empire, he should be aligning himself with a woman who has that, who's like-minded, right? Or if he meets, if a man is about just, hey, look, I just want a family. I'm a common man. I'm not going to do more than that. He aligns himself with a woman who doesn't want more, who wants to be that type of woman as well too. Because essentially the question can almost look like it's dividing us because people are so ego-driven in society. But then it comes to full circle. What is our goals as people? Is it money? So much so that you neglect your family, and the father neglects his wife and his kids, or the mother neglects her kids as well? Or is it making the money and flourishing? And even if you're going to live a superficial lifestyle, if we're going to say that, do you take that money to invest in your family? You know, are you about the money, or are you about the family, or is it a balance of both so that you sustain a strong legacy?
That's true.
It's about the husband. It's about whatever the husband. Every household has a husband, and the husband is supposed to set out guidance and dictate what the path they're gonna go on. That's why I say if you're gonna create or you're gonna conjure up goals that don't have anything to do with the structure and the foundation of your marriage or where it could go, if it's got something to do totally outside of the scope of where y'all trying to go as far as progress. I mean, there's so many things you can think of, you know, as a husband and a wife. Hobbies, habits, or talents, or whatever that could amplify what y'all have. I mean, then there's also things that you can think of and create goals that pretty much deviate from the course of where y'all want to be at in y'all marriage, or as far as where y'all want y'all legacy to be at. I think it's according to the man and his household, and you know what he's got going on. And you're right, it's about him establishing some communication to let her know, look, this is what I'm on. This is the system I got. This is the projection I'm trying to get to. Are you down? You know what I'm saying? What are you good at? You know, what can you bring? You know, let's see how we can fit that into what I've already got going on. And if they can do that, then more power to you. But if you got a woman that's got totally a total agenda that's just completely different from anything that you want to do, and it's going to cost you to pour into it. Like I think Mr. Lego said with Lady Di's example with helping out the community. First of all, what community are you helping out? Because last time I checked, we don't even have a damn community. So the way I see it is the community is the household. Until we actually have an established community where we can go to and get resources and improve resources that's established, that's set as a community, then yeah, goals like that make sense, because then it comes back on you and it comes back on your children in the future as well. But I don't see that. So I would say any goals that you have should be just building this household and building our marriage up. Anything outside of that,